Hi, Music 212ers. I hope that you are doing well. It feels like decades since I last saw you on Monday, um, but I still miss all of you, and I hope you know that I'm working hard on our 212 site and that I really appreciate your patience in allowing me the time to really think through my student learning outcomes and how I would like you to achieve them throughout this version of the course. So the Edgar Varèse Poème électronique case study is now live. So I just wanted to talk you through it to make sure that you were fully prepared in terms of what to expect. I also thought you'd want to see my lovely face without my hair curled. Whoa. So you'll note immediately that although we have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday deadlines for case studies, this one is going into, we have a Friday due date, and then I've moved things to Monday after spring break just to allow you some time to take a break. I would like you to do that. I also know that you might be working on your digital story project, so I just didn't want you to rush through this case study because you allowed me to not rush through planning it. So just note that the things that are due on Monday, especially the discussion components, I don't think will take too much time, but we'll get to that in a bit. So you'll need to begin and work through these in order since I've locked certain steps so that you do them in order. There are 7 steps in this specific case study, so let's walk through them. The first one are the instructions. The second one, although sometimes you do an OC to kind of prep you for the presentation, I actually just want you to work through the presentation to start. You'll note that there are 3 videos of me embedded throughout the presentation in order to walk you through Poème électronique, and I think that you'll find it really interesting in terms of early modernist experimentation and innovation in instrumentation and how this influences Varèse, who really is in between these two time periods and styles in the 20th century. And his Poème électronique we can associate with postmodernism. So work through that, and then you'll want to, after you have reached and gone through and read and watched all the cool videos throughout the entire presentation, you'll note that there are 3 towards the end of it that are different approaches to performing Varèse's Poème électronique. So the first is a virtual reality simulation of the multimedia event. The second is the stereo recording that's existed since 1958. And then the third is a 21st century live performance and reproduction of the performance, which is at the heart of the following discussion. So your OC, just to prep you for that discussion, I want you to listen to the recorded version as well as the live performance version and answer some questions in relation to sound objects and Varèse's philosophy of music. That will make more sense once you work through my videos and the content in the presentation, I promise. And if it doesn't, you can always send me questions. Please be in communication. You don't have to wait until our Wednesday synchronous catch-up session. All right, so this OC is due tomorrow evening. Of course, as I've said time and time again, these dates are flexible, but if you need the structure and if you want to get started on the case study, please submit by tomorrow evening. It's really just listening and watching to 2 performances after you have gone through this presentation. So you only have to do the first 2 steps before spring break. All right, first 3. I keep forgetting that the first step is introduction. So steps 1 through 3 before spring break. All right. If you move on to step 4, you'll note that this is due on Monday after spring break, which is March 30th. You will be reading a really cool article by Tim Stevenson about authenticity and reproduction and the role that technology plays on music that is produced through 20th century technologies. So go ahead and read through this. You'll note if you scroll through that there is a lot of text, but I think it's a pretty easy read. You'll be answering 8 questions and 4, 5, oh wait, here we go, sorry, 5, 6, 7, and 8 will actually be the basis for the next two steps. So this is step 4, and for steps 5 and 6, you're actually just going to be posting your answers to these questions. So a lot of what's required in text will already be thought through in this stage. So you know I like scaffolding, and I really like to scaffold. So let's move on to what those discussions are. The next step is step 5, which is the first discussion of Poème électronique. You have all been divided into 8 groups, so there are about 5 members in each of your groups. You'll see, hey, you can't do this, don't do this until you've completed step 4, please, because I did not put a stop on it just so that you could return to this discussion. There are 2 due dates for the discussion. Even though on Canvas it says March 30th, that's just for the first part. I actually cannot scaffold due dates for one discussion, unfortunately, in Canvas. So you'll note for step 1 and what's due by March 30th, after you've completed step 4, you're just going to copy and paste your answers to 5 and 6 here. And then by the next day, which is Tuesday, March 31st, you're going to be posting a video reply to one of your peers' answers to either one of the questions or both of the questions 5 and 6. And the videos should be thoughtful and respectful. Make sure you're aware of what's going on in your background. You might see, you can have little cat friends joining you. That's Cranberry. And this is Buddy. He's been laying there all day. Anyways, just make sure there's nothing offensive in your background. Sometimes we forget about that, and you certainly don't want to denigrate your peers in this discussion. Make it fruitful, and if there is any disagreement, just explain why, and that you always respect the other person's opinion and for articulating it. So, Socratic dialogue. All right, your video response is due on Tuesday, March 31st. Same goes for step 6, which is the second discussion. So you've actually been put into different discussion groups for this so that you can see some more fresh faces. You will, once again, after you're done with step 4, reading the article, answering those 8 questions, I want you to go ahead and copy and paste the answers to your 7 and 8 into the discussion board. You'll note that your answers to these for each one have to be at least 100 words. I'm hoping you're writing at least 100 words because that's not a lot. It's like this much text probably. But if you don't, you want to make sure you amplify it for the discussion. Just like for step 5, the first discussion, you will be responding with a thoughtful video the next day. So the copy and pasting of questions happens on Monday because that due date for step 4 is on Monday. Then you have a day to then post a video response. Say you wait until 11:58 p.m. on Monday, March 30th to post your replies. You don't have to video yourself right away in this discussion. You can go to bed, return to it on Tuesday, and then upload your videos. All right. Wrapping up the Varèse discussion, of course, is what you're adding to your style site. This isn't a graded assignment right here. However, you know that if you can keep up with it, especially after you've just, had a discussion and you've gone through the presentation, and you've gone through these listening experiences, you'll definitely want to just summarize it, right away in your style site. Okay, so that is what is due and the plan. I will be making our next case study is on John Cage. You'll see that one populating, and then I do believe after that it is Caroline Shaw. So these two I will be populating over the break. As I said, there'll be some overlap and deadline between the Poème électronique and the John Cage. That's just so we can really get onto a more regular schedule and not have these due dates sliding. But if you need more time, always let me know. You should be prioritizing your digital story project. Okay, if you have any questions, let me know. Thought it would just be good for you to see my face and my cats. So you've seen Cranberry and Buddy. We also have here is, do you see him, Romeo? He's always hanging out at my feet. And then we have Tybalt down at the end of our couch. Okay, I will see you all later. Tschüss. Bye bye.